Tonight, you're going to eat something warm. Maybe it's already in front of you, steam coming off it. That smell that hits you before the first bite even lands. And you won't think about it. Nobody does. But that plate of hot food, that is the single most important reason you're smart enough to be sitting here at all. Here's a question almost nobody asks. What if we never discovered fire? I don't mean, what if the power went out? I mean, what if, 1,000,000 years ago, our ancestors never learned to hold it? No cooking, no warmth, no flame, ever. The answer isn't life would be a little harder. The answer is you wouldn't exist. Not you, specifically. Humans. The whole species. And by the time we're done, I think you're going to look at your own body a little differently. Let me back up. Because to understand what fire did to us, you have to see what we were before it. Picture a chimpanzee. Our closest living relative, we share almost 99% of our DNA with them. A chimp spends roughly 6 hours a day chewing. 6 hours. Not hunting, not finding food, just chewing. Grinding through raw leaves, raw fruit, the occasional raw scrap of meat. Their jaws are huge, their teeth are enormous, and their guts are massive. A chimp's belly is basically a giant fermentation tank because raw food is brutally hard to break down. And for millions of years, that was us too. Our ancestors were basically upright apes with the exact same problem. Big gut, big teeth, tiny brain, and almost every waking hour spent feeding the machine. And then one group of them did something no animal on Earth had ever done. They took the most dangerous force in nature, the thing every other creature on the planet runs away from, and they kept it, on purpose. The oldest solid evidence we have comes from a place called Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, going back roughly 1,000,000 years. Ash, burned bone, a fire someone tended. And there's a Harvard scientist, Richard Wrangham, who spent his career arguing something that flipped anthropology on its head. In 2009, he wrote a book called Catching Fire, and his whole idea was this. Cooking didn't just feed us. Cooking made us. Here's the logic, and it's kind of beautiful once it clicks. When you cook food, you're doing part of your digestion outside your body. The heat breaks down the fibers, unravels the proteins, turns tough raw starch into something soft and sweet. Raw food, your body has to fight for every single calorie. Cooked food, the calories are basically handed to you. Same bite, way more fuel, and all that extra fuel had to go somewhere. It went to the most expensive organ you own, the one right between your ears. Let me put a number on expensive. Your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but it burns around 20% of your energy, just sitting there. Right now, 1/5 of everything you eat is being spent keeping the thing that's understanding these words switched on. No other animal on Earth can afford a brain like that, so how could we? Two scientists, Leslie Aiello and Peter Wheeler, cracked it back in the 90s. They called it the expensive tissue hypothesis, and it goes like this. Guts are expensive too, almost as expensive as brains. And when they looked at the fossil record, they found something wild. As our ancestors' brains got bigger, their guts got smaller, almost perfectly in step, like a trade. Cooked food was so easy to digest, we didn't need that giant fermentation tank anymore. So the body shrank it, and all that saved energy got reinvested, upstairs. Here's the part that gets me. Look at your own body for a second. Your jaw is small, your teeth are small, your gut is short, you've got a chin. And get this, no other animal has a chin, and scientists still argue about why. You are the body of a creature that stopped chewing raw food a very, very long time ago. You're not just an animal that uses fire, you're an animal that fire rebuilt. So now, run the tape backwards. No fire, no cooking, which means no shortcut on digestion, which means no surplus calories, which means no fuel for a bigger brain. The whole cascade never starts. Our ancestors stay locked in the exact same trap as every other ape. Big gut, big teeth, small brain, 6 hours a day chewing, and you do not build a civilization when you're spending a quarter of your waking life just grinding down leaves. But here's the thing, it's not only about calories, because fire handed us something almost as valuable. Time. Remember those 6 hours of chewing? Cooked food is soft. Cooked food is fast. Once we started cooking, chewing time collapsed. You and I spend well under an hour a day at it. So overnight, in evolution's terms, our ancestors got hours back. Free hours. Every single day. And you know what a species does with free hours? It stops just surviving, and it starts doing things. Now here's one you probably never thought about. Without fire, we're not just dumber. We're trapped. Our species evolved in warm Africa. The only reason humans ever spread into freezing Europe, into Ice Age tundra, over frozen mountain passes, is that we could carry warmth with us. Fire was portable climate. Without it, The entire northern half of the planet is just off limits. No humans in Europe, no humans in the Arctic, nobody ever crossing into the Americas through that frozen north. Half the human story never happens. It just doesn't exist. And there's a quieter gift almost nobody mentions. Cooking doesn't only soften food, it sterilizes it. Heat kills the bacteria, kills the parasites crawling through raw meat. Fire is the reason we could eat all that dense brain-building protein and not die from it half the time. But maybe the most human thing fire ever did happened after the sun went down. Because a fire doesn't just cook. A fire gathers. A flame in the dark pulls people toward it. You can't survive the cold alone and stay a loner. So the fire became the first meeting place, the first spot where the whole group sat down together, face to face, in the one pocket of light in a pitch-black world. And what do people do when they sit in the firelight? They talk. They tell stories. They plan tomorrow. Some anthropologists think that campfire is literally where language and culture caught. Pun fully intended. Now picture none of it. No warm circle. No gathering point. Every night, our fireless ancestors do exactly what chimps do. Climb a tree, huddle up, and wait out the terrifying dark in silence. No stories, no shared plans, no knowledge passed from the old to the young around a flame. The spark that turned a bunch of apes into a people never lights. And if you're thinking, come on, humans could have just toughed it out on raw food, we actually tested that, kind of by accident. There are people today who eat everything raw, on purpose. Modern grocery stores, blenders, all of it. And when researchers studied them, they found something striking. Roughly a third of the women stopped menstruating. Their bodies literally couldn't gather enough energy to reproduce. That's with a supermarket. In the wild, with no store and no blender, that's not a diet, that's extinction. So let's answer the question honestly. What if we never discovered fire? We'd still be here, sort of. There'd be an ape in Africa, upright, clever for an ape. Big teeth, big gut, small brain, spending most of its life chewing and most of its nights hiding in a tree from things with better eyes. No cities, no writing, no music, no you. Every idea humanity has ever had was paid for in calories, and fire is where those calories came from. So tonight, when you sit down to something hot, actually look at it for a second. That's not just dinner. That's the reason you can think at all. We didn't just discover fire. Fire is what finished making us. And most of us take a bite every single day without ever knowing it.